Good morning, everyone. I just want to welcome you to our second webinar on how to bid for Calhoun County Land Bank Authority. I'm Amy Rose Robinson, the Assistant Director here at the Land Bank. We hope this presentation will be informative and dispel any fears that you might have bidding for a government agency. Our presenters today are Tanisha Heath, Property Projects Coordinator, and Quentin Hay, Housing Projects Coordinator. We are all part of the development team here at the Land Bank. This is a webinar, so everyone is muted and no videos will be turned on. We ask that you put all the questions in the chat as this is being recorded. Without further ado, I'll have Quentin take it away.
All right, do we have the presentation up? We'd like to share. One second. Right, go to the next slide. Okay, so as Amy said, I'm Quentin Hay. I'm the Housing Projects Coordinator here at the Land Bank. So the agenda for today's webinar will just be the quick introductions that Amy just gave, some upcoming projects that we have, the bidding process, how to register through vendor registry, required documents, the evaluation and scoring process, how to submit your bid, and then some final tips and takeaways. And we'll also have a chance for any questions that you may have.
Good morning. I'm Tanisha Heath. As Amy mentioned, I'm the Property Projects Coordinator. So some upcoming projects that we have coming to bid are this year we'll have 4 roofing stabilization projects. Those projects will be released in an RFP this week. So make sure that you are registered to bid. Later this year, we will be releasing masonry and foundation projects, 8 rehabilitation projects, which plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and general contracting will be released separately, and also 4 infill housing projects that will be released.
So the bidding process, it begins with bid solicitation. This is where the Land Bank will issue a request for proposal and provide specifications to interested contractors. Following that, bid submission will be when the contractors review the bid documents, visit the site, and prepare their bids based on their scope of work and costs. Bid selection is when we evaluate the bids and choose the contractor that meets the criteria and budget we're looking for. And then the contract is when the Land Bank and the contractor will enter into a contract. And finally, the project delivery is when the contractor will perform the work.
So as mentioned, the first step to bidding on a land bank or Calhoun County project is to register on our site and become a vendor. So we've included a live link to the site here, which is at calhouncountymichigan.gov, where you will be able to sign up for free. In order to receive email notifications for new bids, you must register here. It's not necessary to choose the option to pay. You can register for this for free. All bids are submitted online.
All right. And then, so the required documents when you're bidding for a project are your letter of interest, certificate of good standing, evidence of insurance, budget and pricing proposal, copy of your residential builder's license, 3 references, non-collusion affidavit, debarred or suspended statement, W-9, and then the equal opportunity clause. And as you can see on the left, noted in blue, some of these will be included in the RFP, meaning you just have to fill it out. We'll give you a template for that and you won't have to draft anything.
So the first thing that you will include is your letter of interest and certification. In that letter of interest, these are the details to include. the name of your firm, the contact information, including your email address, the names and the contact information of all persons with an interest or ownership in your company, a description of your organization, a summary of your qualifications, your years of experience. I've included an example of what a letter of interest could look like. So here I've included at the top that our company is called Heath Construction. I've addressed it to Calhoun County Land Bank Authority with the date. I've said thank you for the opportunity to submit this proposal. That Heath Construction will perform all of the activities. That's where you list who will be performing, if you have subcontractors or if it will just be your company. I've included the contact information that we in our address. I've included our experience, the name of our company, of course. We've had 15 years of experience in general contracting, and also I've included that we don't have grant experience. We're a woman-owned business and minority-owned business who also attends CBC, which is Calhoun Builders Connection, which is a very important part because you can get additional points for that. Again, it's very important to include all of this information as you'll be given points for each of these categories. And soon we'll share the point system and how we evaluate each application.
All right, so the next document in the bid required documents is the Certificate of Good Standing. This can be found through WARA, or the Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs for the state of Michigan. So we've offered a live link to our right, as well as a QR code if you'd like to quickly go to that site through your phone. And then on the left, you can see this is what the site looks like when you follow the links, and then you can search for the business if you know the ID number, and you can complete the order request form for the Certificate of Good Standing. And if you don't know, there's a search bar where you can put in different business criteria to find the correct business. But it is important to note that to get the Certificate of Good Standing, you must be registered with the state, and that way you can order it.
So the next thing that you'll need to include in your application is the evidence of insurance. So this certificate needs to be submitted with your application. The amounts that are on your certificate need to show $2 million for general liability, $500,000 for workers' comp, and $1 million for auto liability. It also needs to list the CCLBA, or the Calhoun County Land Bank Authority, as the additionally insured. Your insurance company can update this usually rather quickly and free of cost.
All right, so the next is the budget and pricing proposal. And as I touched on in the required documents slide, this will be provided to you, so you will just be in charge of placing the numbers and adding correctly. But as you can see, there's a line for permits describing what permits will be needed, and then the actual project. So replace entire roof, fascia, and soffits in this example. And as you can see, the two totals on the right, and then finally the complete total at the bottom. So just want to hint to make sure to check your numbers, make sure they are added correctly. And even in fact, on our first webinar, we had slightly incorrect numbers. So that points to the need to double and triple check.
So here, referencing the previous slide where I gave an example of the letter of interest, this will be where we look at your detailed information on your service experience, grant experience, and even your participation in Calhoun Builders Connection. Here we've shown that if you have 4 or more years of experience, you'll receive 10 points. If it's less, 5 points, and so on. We've included in our pricing proposal, we've included the pricing proposal, who will get the highest points for the lowest bid. The next lowest bid will receive 40 points. Local preference will also be given points as well.
Yeah, so moving forward from the last slide that Tanisha just presented, this is what we'll see. This is how we total out the contractors in their scoring. So as you can see, contractor 1 had 10 points for 4+ years experience. but they weren't active participants in CBC, so they got 0 points. And then ultimately, the green line at the very bottom shows that contractor 4 was the winning bid, and contractor 5 is an example of not having a applicable or relevant demo plan. And in this case, their insurance was also expired, which made it so that they were not a part of the scoring.
This next slide is a view of what our bid tab will look like. So on the pricing proposals of all of the applications, we have included each person's pricing for each bid. So we will have a bid meeting for some of the RFPs for some of the bids. Here we had a bid meeting and we showed each person's bid number. Ultimately, we have contractor 2 that won most of the bids. On some of them, we had contractor 3 that won 1, but they did not put in bids for the other ones. Ultimately, we have ranked and given them points for the lowest bid being the winner at 50 points, and the next lowest at 40 points, and so on for the other 2 contractors. This is how we score for who will win the bid based on the lowest bid amounts.
And then bid evaluation. So this is another just way for us to check which documents have been submitted with their bids, what they might be missing. And then at the notes at the bottom, you can see we put in a few specifics for each bid. But the yellow, as you can see, was either expired, not attached, or missing. So yeah.
The next item that you will need to include in your application is a copy of the residential builder's license. A copy of your builder's license must be in the company's name. Here you can see that this builder's license is in Title Brothers Construction, LLC. It is not in George J. Titles. It's not in his name, but he can be listed as a qualifying officer. So this is how we need to see it. As long as it is in your business name, then that will work.
And then references. So we would like to see 3 references supplied in your bid. The job reference must be related to the job you're bidding for. So if it's a demo job, we want to know previous experience with demolitions. And then we'd also like to know your previous experience working with government agencies as well.
Next, this is how you submit your bid using vendor registry. These are all the instructions that you will need to submit your bid. The first thing we ask is that you submit one bid in PDF format. That means each page is printed separately. Was put it all together in one file. We ask that you follow directions step by step. We ask that you view all the attachments in the solicitation, as we do sometimes have special instructions outside of the RFP that we submit. So make sure that you view all attachments in the RFP. Also, again, as we mentioned before, everything that you need is right here online. If you have any questions or any trouble using vendor registry, we have included vendor registries contact information so that you can call them and they can assist you with anything that you need. And they are very responsive to helping you submit your application. And so here we have some final tips and takeaways from Amy about submitting your RFP, submitting your bid.
Nice job. The first one is really take the time to read the RFP. Quentin, Tanisha, and I have spent a lot of time writing the RFPs to include absolutely everything that we can think of. It will have, especially depending on the grant funding or funding that we receive, there may be special considerations for the projects that you'll want to consider when you're bidding. So just for instance, some of the work may include lead abatement or you're going to be working with lead, so you may need to have lead certification. If you don't read that in the document, then if you don't read the document, you're not going to know that, and you won't submit the correct certifications that you'll need for the projects. So please take the time to read that. Um, please don't submit the RFP with your applications. Like I said, we've spent a lot of time writing. We've also spent a lot of time proofing and reading the documentation ourselves. We already know what it says, so don't include that in your scanned package. And just a note, when you do submit online, please only submit a complete package. So we've often received several scans of documentation separately. It makes for a really, it makes the work on our end a little bit harder because then we have to compile all of that. So please make sure that it's just one bid document that you are submitting. We do offer a Q&A, so questions will be asked to be submitted online if you have them um, at a certain date. We will also then resubmit the answers. So everybody will see all of the questions and everybody will see all of the answers. If you plan to bid, they will all be available online. And if you do not win an award, there are two things. One, we will be sending out the bid tabulation with all of the pricing listed. So everybody is going to see that to all of those that bid on the project. You're also invited to an open Zoom meeting to have those be read out loud during that bid opening. If you have questions after and you've received, sorry, the email that says, sorry, the job was awarded to someone else, call us. If you're interested in bidding, we want to help you through this process. We had a contractor several years ago who kept bidding and kept bidding. And finally, after like the third time, I said, look, we closed off the pricing proposal, or the bid was closed. And I called that contractor and I said, all right, this is where things are not working out for you. And let me help you through this so that you can get to winning. And now that contractor wins just about at least one job every single time he bids. So we don't want you to just won and quit bidding. We want to help you through the process. And if it's confusing, or we want to really dispel some of that fear and help you through it. So we are all here to do that. So please contact us if you are interested in winning a bid. We really do want to help our contractors to earn to earn those bids and win the awards. So I am not seeing, the only question we had was if we are going to make the recording available, and we absolutely will. It'll either be on our website, and if we can email that out as a file, we certainly will. And we're also trying to get it on the Calhoun Builders Connection website as well. So everything can be directed there because that's our contractor group. Does anyone have any questions? I'll be happy to, if you raise your hand, I'll be happy to even open up the floor for having those questions. Okay. So that concludes our webinar on how to bid for Calhoun County Land Bank Authority.
We have
Oh, wait,
one
we got one
question.
question. Okay.
So you got it, Amy?
Yep. So
Okay.
one of our attendees is asking, can we show the slide with the registration? This registration is also available on the county website. So if you go to Calhoun County, like the Calhoun County's official website, and you go to purchasing, there is a direct link to registering on for our Calhoun County jobs. Now, and just remember that when you do register, you're not only registering for the land bank, you are registering for the entire county. So if there are county jobs, like, so say you are, uh, say you are in roofing and you put roofing on, and the Parks and Recreation Department is putting up a building and they need a new roof. You may get an email blast from when that is posted. So just be warned, it is an opportunity when you register on just the Calhoun County, you have the opportunity of other jobs that will be posted. So, they will not only be coming from the land bank. Are there any other questions?
We had one
Oh,
from an anonymous attendee, if you want
do
to
you
tackle
have
that.
to have a builder's license to bid? So most of our jobs are going to require that you pull a permit. So yes, you are going to need a builder's license to bid that work.
And then we have one hand raised.
Oh,
It says 12697. So
yep.
I'm gonna allow you to talk and you can ask Amy your question.
Hello?
Hello. Hi
Yeah,
there.
how you doing? This is
Good.
Dave. Hey, question. So will the jobs be broken out individually for separate contractors to bid on it? Or will it be a complete package with just one general?
Nope. So we will be bidding out in terms of our rehabilitation projects, they will all be bid separately. So we'll have plumbing, mechanical, and electrical that will be bid separately, and then we will have a builder. So those will all, when we bid, so we'll bid out X job, like ABC or 123 Main Street, just for instance. And there will be 3 bids that will come, I'm sorry, 4 bids that will be posted for that project: plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and building. In terms of the infill is going to be a little bit different because we are asking the builder. So but the infill projects, I do not know yet if we're going to separate those out. Yes, we are going to separate those out. Any other questions?
We had one more in the chat from Kenneth.
With regard to the builder's license, our license is in the name of our 100% owner of the company. So if it is in your company name, that is all that we need. So there are some where the contractor has just gone from, I am the qualifying officer, but I also want to register my business. And if it is only in that business name, that is completely fine. But we cannot technically write, so let's just say Joanne contractor has her contractor license in, okay? And but she's doing business as Joanne Building. We have to put it in the name of the builder's license. So we would have to do it to Joanne, Smith, because that's what is submitted. So it would not be able to be, the checks would not be able to be written to the company because the license has to match the company name. So if you're submitting work in the company name and the builder's license has a company name, you're golden. And it looks like we have, if you're just bidding on HVAC and have your mechanical license, do you also need a builder's license? No, you do not. So as long as your mechanical license is current and that will be the requirement for that project. So in that bid, it will basically state you need a current mechanical and HVAC license. I think that's it. Does anyone else have anything else? We'll be happy to turn on the mic for you if you would prefer not to put it in the chat. All right, folks. Thank you so much for attending. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you. If you have any questions between, now and when we post, please, feel free to contact us. If we have posted a job, please make sure you pay attention to the question due dates and when the answers will be coming out for those questions. Thank you. Have a great day.